It's going to be dedicated to guys that are in their 30s. Um, if you a man that's in your 30s and you're not married, you don't have a family, you pretty much know that your fate is sealed. You pretty much know that it's a nail in the coffin for you, and you know that it's over for you. Now,
Okay, so his idea of success is, based on the normie narrative, the typical that you should be at least by your 30s married and having a child, okay, by your 30s. That's what he believes in. That's what he's been told to believe by society, by societal expectations.
there are, one thing I don't like is for people to try to paint a false narrative that there's a light at the end of the tunnel for you, because there isn't. It's dudes in their 20s that know that it's over for them. But this video here is dedicated to men that are in their 30s. If you're a man that's 30 plus, you're not married, you don't have any kids, you know it's done for you. Um,
Why is it done for you? Because that's the thing. Why are you in a rush to get married? That's my question to you, savvy boy. And I know you ain't gonna answer it because you don't have any answer. You just blurt out all kind of nonsense, and then when people address you, you say, "Oh, God don't love everybody. Not every man has a purpose. Uh, Life ain't good for everybody. Jeremy Meeks didn't have to work for it." You say some dumb crap because what you're saying is nonsense. Who said it's a rush to get married and have kids? Who said it is? Who said it's a race? Is it a sport? And some people shouldn't even get married, and you shouldn't be having kids anyway. I don't know why you're trying to have kids when you're a finished guy anyway, and your father was finished. You're gonna get into that later, but it's best that your genetic line dies out, man. You were truly altruistic. Would agree with that.
Here's what traveling Costa Rica with G Adventures looks like in 45 seconds.
I don't feel there's any hope or there's anything that anyone can tell a man who's 30 plus years old about life. You
Okay, so life ends at 30, right? When you're 30, you're the master of everything. You've learned everything. All knowledge has been acquired. There's nothing else that you can do beyond in your 30s.
you can't, men who are in their 30s, they pretty much they've lived long enough. By the time you a man in your 30s, you've lived long enough to understand your fate. I knew my fate was sealed years ago. That's why I always go back to my adolescent
Of
days.
course, you knew your fate was sealed because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
How many guys knew that it was over for them from the time they were teenagers? My father let me know.
No, that's not normal, bro. If you're a teenager thinking that my life is finished, it's over for me, there's something wrong with you mentally. You're not mentally well. You have mental health problems. See, this is the problem with these kind of guys. They're mentally unwell and they think that their mental illness is normal. No, it's not normal. As a teenager, you're supposed to be filled with hope, filled with, positivity, and you're supposed to believe that you will become something great, even if you don't. I mean, it's just natural for a teenager to, because they haven't had those experiences. They haven't been here long enough to really, they're not cognizant of their reality. Like you said, by the time a man hits his 30s, he should be cognizant of his reality. But when you're a teenager, you're not cognizant of your reality. So there's no reason for you to say it's over, it's over, it's over for me when your life is just beginning. Yeah, you thought that because you're not mentally well, and these people who follow your channel are mentally deranged individuals, and that's why they believe what they believe.
That I was inadequate at a very young age. That's why there's nothing that nobody can tell me. See, a lot of guys
Yeah,
who are
because you're arrogant bastard, that's why.
in these types of positions, they didn't have a father that let them know from a young age that they were inadequate. See, if I was a father and I had a son, I would let him know at a young age that, son, I hate to break it to you, but I wasn't a hit with the ladies. And unfortunately, my son, you're not going to be a hit either. Because, like,
Please never reproduce with this guy. Please, opposite gender, never reproduce with this guy.
They say the
You're doing a great job so far. Keep it up.
apple don't fall too far from the tree. You know, a lot of this stuff is genetic here. Um, a lot of guys, and I'm gonna continue to stay on topic. A lot of guys that are in their 30s, they pretty much know where they stand. If you're a man that's 30 some years old, you know where you stand.
You should know where you stand by 30 in your
You know,
30s.
and I noticed Baraka McCray, he took his life when he was 29 because he knew that his 20s were a living hell. So he didn't even want to go into his 30s because he knew the older that he got
Yeah, we know Baraka McRae's
in
finished.
a position like this that it was going to get worse.
Baraka McRae was autistic, okay, and he was like, you said he was 29 years old. He was stocking shelves for a living. The guy had no real career. He had no business. He had no career prospects. He had nothing going for him. He knew it was finished. Add autism on top of that, and yeah, he's a done deal, man. But Baraka McRae represents a tiny fraction of a percent of the population. You got to remember, only 1 to 2% of the population are autistic anyway. So Baraka McRae, that has nothing to do with most men.
He knew that it was not going to get any better. I just want to say that if you a dude that's in your 30s, you pretty much know where you stand for real. And it's really nothing that no one can tell you.
Of course, there's something that they can tell you. What do you think? You know it all at 30, Dumbo?
You a man that's 30 some years old, ain't nothing that nobody can tell you about your situation.
Ain't nothing that you want to hear from anybody. That's the reality. You don't want to hear anything from anybody because you're a doomer. You hate yourself and you're giving up. Well, you're going to continue to be punished. But we know where it ends up. It either ends up in him going the way of Baraka McRae, his idol, and finishing himself, or it ends up with him harming others or plotting to harm others like Gavin Plum and ending up in a jail cell. These are the only options that you have. And that's the reality, man. You're not going to make it to old age. And if you do, it'll be in a jail cell.
Because you've lived long enough to understand your situation. You understand the deficit that you in. You understand the hell and the turmoil and the pain that you've been through. So you don't need nobody to tell you about your situation. You know, I just don't like how, you know, guys in these types of positions, we're always seen as the villain. That just go to show you how people feel about guys who are in circumstances like this. If you're a man and you're in a position like this, people will judge you very harshly. They really and truly will. But it's not like we wanted things to be this way for us. This is just the way that it is. But
But typical Doomer line. This is the way that it is, right? It's the way that it is. I'm helpless. I can't do anything about my situation. I'm a victim. This, that, and the other. We heard it all before a million times.
I think it would have I think it would have helped a lot of guys if they had a father that let them know from a young age that they was not going to be successful in their love life. I think a lot of guys, if they
How's your father gonna know? Your father's from a different generation. How's he gonna know? A lot of fathers probably think that they're successful anyway.
had dads, that would have helped them out a whole lot. Because having a man in your life to let you know how things are going to play out for you can definitely help you out a lot. I think that's one of the reasons to why it's always been so easy for me to accept my situation because I had a
There he goes lying again. It's been easy for him to accept, yet you've been crying about it on the internet for over a decade. If it was easy for you to accept, you wouldn't be talking about it. You wouldn't be crying about it. You wouldn't have been having those rants that were on You Wouldn't Like Me When I Get Gutter channel. Those rants where you're going on about this and that, and what do you say? Like, don't give me your number if you're not interested, or all this nonsense that you're talking about, like some beta male. I mean, you're not even a beta male, you're an omega male, but that's the thing. I mean, you just stop lying and telling me that you accept it because you don't accept it. You're still trying to get there. You're still trying to trick off on these hoes anyway.
father that let me know at 14. That's why, it was always so easy for me to accept my situation because when you got a father that's letting you know that, you're not going to be a success with the ladies. When you got a father letting you know that from a young age, he's pretty much letting you know where you stand. And see, a lot of guys cannot say, "Oh, I had a father that let me know at 14 that I wasn't going to be a desirable
And yet you're still crying about it, so what difference did it make?
man." Most guys can't say that.
Miles
There we
away.
go.
Miles
I'm
away.
perfecting my technique.
Okay, well, witness perfection.
You know, I you know, I'm hoping that, these discussions that I'm having, these late night discussions, I'm hoping that this thing can really take off for me, and I can have
Bro, your content is getting stale, man, because you don't do any like different content. You don't respond to people like me, your detractors. I mean, it'd be more interesting if you responded to your detractors, but you don't have any response because your claims are ridiculous. You're an imbecile anyway.
a talk show like Dr. Phil talking to
Here
undesirable
comes the cope. I want a talk show like Dr. Phil. Listen to what he's gonna say.
men getting paid millions a year to talk to
You see that? You see that? He's trying to use YouTube, which is gonna it's not gonna work, but he's trying to use YouTube to gain status. Okay, now he's saying he's gonna get paid millions a year to have a talk show like Dr. Phil. This guy is delusional, bro. Nobody wants to see your ugly, dumb ass on the TV screen. You retard.
undesirable men. I have a nice suit on. I'm drinking
Nobody wants to see a fat Sherman Clump looking guy in a nice suit.
champagne. I have different men that come on my platform, and we talk about being sexless losers. That is my goal with these.
No, bro. First of all, let's say you got a TV contract, they put you on the TV, right? Eventually, okay, you can talk about that, but then there's gonna be people that's gonna come on and combat you and say what you're saying is wrong. There's not gonna be a monologue. They're not gonna let a bunch of TFL losers come on the TV screen and have a monologue about we're victims and society this and that. Even if they let you come on there, first of all, you would never have your own show, but if you did, um, and they let you do that, eventually there's gonna be detractors. You can't even respond to your detractors like me, but yet you're gonna sit there and say you're gonna be on a talk show and get paid millions a year. This shows how much of an imbecile you are. You're a complete, utter, and absolute moron, and that's why you're in the position that you're in. Just look at the nonsense you're saying. Not only that, but you have videos on the internet, okay, that are vitriolic, okay? I don't care if you took them down. It's still on you wouldn't like me when I get gutter. It don't matter that they're not on this channel. You have videos that are vitriolic, okay, and hateful. What's gonna happen if you got on TV, which you never would because you don't have the skill anyway, but what's gonna happen if you get on TV, okay, and people are gonna see you and they're gonna take to Twitter and show the vitriol that you said your show will get cancelled in a heartbeat. Do you think in a modern era they're gonna let you on TV with this vitriolic stuff that you've said? See, this shows how stupid you are. You can't fix the stupidity of this guy. And I'm not trying to help this guy. I told you guys, he's finished. He will go the way of Baraka McRae, which is what I want to happen, or he will go the way of, Jake Davison or Gavin Plum or whoever else. He will go that way. I mean, he will not find any success. He's never going to be a millionaire. He's never going anywhere. He's a delusional piece of crap, and he's always going to be that way. This is not even a good person. I have no sympathy for him. He deserves his suffering. And like I said, stop giving this guy advice. You're giving this guy advice, you're stupid. You really think a guy like this stands a chance at life? If you think a guy like this stands a chance at life, you must think we're living in Disneyland. This is the real world. This is a dog eat dog world. An individual like this cannot compete. He has no skill, he has no value, he's worthless. And he thinks he can use his shitty YouTube channel to gain status. The only reason why he gets views is off of you wouldn't like me when I get gutter. If that channel never existed, he'd be getting less views than me.
late night discussions. Hopefully, this will blow up so you guys
Ain't
continue
nothing blowing up. The only thing that's gonna blow up is if you go and commit an act of terror. That's the only thing that's gonna blow up. Ain't nothing gonna blow up, bro.
to support. Um,
And you end up blowing yourself up because you're that dumb.
I'll leave the description where you can donate.
Okay,
I'll
you
leave
see that? Now he's e-begging. You see that? Just like that bitch from Sweden. He's e-begging. All these guys are the same. I told you. All of these guys are the scum of the earth.
the information for where you can donate in the description of this video. But that's the goal here. I
Your goal is stupid, man. You are one of the biggest morons I've ever seen. You make Face Nella Mess look like a genius.
love doing these topics. I love doing these late night discussions. I'm hoping that I can be the next Dr. Phil to talk to men who are sexless.
If you read the comments, they're not even telling him that he's delusional. That's how you know all the guys in this cult are as dumb as each other, and that's why they're here. He's literally saying, I'm gonna get paid millions to be the next Dr. Phil. And people in the comments are not even telling him that he's wrong.
Losers, men who are not wanted, because that is my goal. That is my dream, to have a talk show. I'll be up there with a bottle of Cristal, have a $5,000 Hermenegildo Zegna suit on, and I have a lot of sexless losers that come on my show. And
Yeah,
we can
and see, this guy don't even care about you guys. What he's trying to do is use, and it's not going to work, but his goal is to use your suffering, okay, to boost his status so that he can trick off on the hoes. That's what he's doing. He's not even a good person. And you guys still, see, that's how you know TFL Incel are the most retarded people on earth. He's literally telling you that he wants to use your suffering so that he can get a contract on TV to become a millionaire so that he can use that money to gain chicks and gain status. And you still support, you TFL incel guys are the lowest piece of scum. You should be taken out of the earth, bro. You should be put in mental asylums where you belong. You still supporting this guy after he's literally telling you that he want to use you to gain status. That shows your level of IQ.
just talk about life and problems. I'll be
Oh yeah, savvy guy, I'd love to come on your show.
the Dr. Phil of the rejects. You know,
Beyond stupid.
that's my goal here. Because I know people tune in. I know people love the topics. They love the content, and I know people love these late night discussions. So that's my dream, to have a talk show called Life or Hell Incorporated, where
Okay, so answer my videos, respond to my videos then. Your talk show is not going to be a monologue, dummy. It's not going to exist, but you believe it's going to exist in your delusional little mind. Respond to my videos then. Respond to your detractors. How about that? Nobody wants to see a bunch of fat, ugly guys having a monologue on TV.
I have nothing but rejects on my show, men who are not wanted, men who are undesirable, and we just talk about life and all the woes of this world. That'll be a wonderful talk show. I'll be your host, savvy guy, getting paid millions a year.
See
That's
that? You
my
see
goal.
that? You see
So
I'm getting paid millions a year. You see that?
thank you guys for tuning in to these late night discussions. But this video here was really to target men that are in their 30s, who are just not desired. If you a man that's in your 30s and you alone, you don't need nobody to tell you about your circumstance, because you know.
Sometimes, the only thing more difficult than running a business
I mean, if you a man that's in your 30s and you don't know your situation, if you don't have an understanding of certain things, by the time you a man that's in your 30s, then you're just lost. Because by the time you're 30, you fully an adult. So if you don't have a clear understanding of things by the time you're 30, then you're just lost. And more than likely you really have a low IQ. That's why I
You
wanted to
have a low IQ, man. See, you're not even cognizant of your own ability. You're telling other men they have a low IQ. Your IQ is low, dummy.
make this video targeting men that are in their 30s, because a lot of people want to try to feed you all of this nonsense, and they want to try to blow all of this smoke up your behind and tell you all of this foolishness. But you know your situation better than anybody. And by the time you a man that's 30 something years old, I mean, what can anyone really tell you about your circumstance? I mean, you fully grown.
Because you're finished anyway. It doesn't matter what somebody tells you, you're finished. It don't matter. You're finished, 100% finished. Stop giving this guy advice. It don't matter what somebody tells you. You're 100% finished. And see, some men don't even know how to identify who's finished and who's not. And that's why you shouldn't listen to those guys.
You've lived long enough to truly have an understanding of life and how things operate. So, you don't need nobody to tell you about anything because you truly have a clear understanding of your situation, your experiences, and all of that. So, I just wanted to make this video, just stating, don't let nobody gaslight you or try to tell you to stop.
I'm glad this guy is suffering. I'm so glad that people like this are suffering, bro. Because that's justified. Justified that people like this are suffering. Don't have sympathy for this guy. Deserves it 100%. He also said that if he had a kid, okay, he said this, I saw him say this before. He said if he had a kid and he got into problems, like I guess financial problems or any kind of other problems, he would just walk out on her and the child. He said that.
Complaining about your circumstance.
He's a
You
piece
you're
of
free to
crap.
talk about your problems. You're free to talk about
Talking about your problems without solution is pointless. That's coping.
the issues that you have been
I
through.
talk about solutions. I'm solution based. See, you're not a real man. That's why you don't have any solution.
Because by the time you're a 30-some-year-old man, what can anybody really tell you? I mean, you have a clear understanding of how things operate. You know your circumstance and life story better than anybody. And you already know where you stand by the time you're a man that's in your 30s. Or you should anyway. But if you don't, then you just have a very low IQ.
You have very low IQ yourself.
But that's been tonight's discussion.
Yeah, yeah, shut up, man. I don't know if I'm gonna do another video on this guy. It seemed like you're beating a dead horse at this point. But anyways, it's Unreal Man here, Truth of the Man. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you aren't already. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you're informed every time I upload a new video.